Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Drug Addiction, Treatment, Recovery and Relapse, where we look at the vexing problem of relapse following treatment. Today we are going to pick up a topic from the book that we are getting this series of talks from, called Ask Us About Rock Bottom, now available on Amazon Kindle. Our hero today is a Major Limo from the Kenya Army, Kenya Defense Forces, who found himself in active combat duty in Somalia, where so up to today the Kenya Defense Forces are involved in fighting terrorists who are based in that war-torn countries. The events of that mission ended up scarring him for life, not physically, because he was lucky enough to avoid physical injury, but mentally. When he came back from his tour of duty, his bosses never noted that the man was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. This is because in our armed forces, as we saw in the police service, as we saw in the prison services, the issue of counseling, of mental health has been put on the back. It is not in the front of their collective thinking. So mental health is not given the importance part it requires. So he ended up degenerating, and the outshoot was that he became a serious abuser of alcohol. The alcohol led to marital problems and eventually to a slight stroke, and he was invalidated out of the army at the young age of 42. So a very promising career who had risen to the level of a major is now an invalid. He later went to a rehab. This rehab was a faith-based organization, and he did this because he had heard horror stories about rehabs that have become money-minting factories where men and women who are in the disciplined forces are sent by their bosses, and the government is overcharged through the NHIF, but the kind of treatment they get there is so substandard that 99% literally of all those who go to those rehabs come out and start drinking within the first 1 month. Having heard of that, he decided to go to a faith-based place where not only his mental health was taken care of, but also his spiritual health. The place also had a full-time doctor, and his slight stroke was dealt with, and he came out a very clean gentleman. I'm happy to say that at this juncture in his life, he's back on his feet, he's in business, and his marital problems are over. Why do I bring in the issue of the army? The army is a place where death is the commodity of trade, and you don't expect to be dealing with death and not have it's an effect. The war in Somalia is particularly very, very barbaric, is very, very cruel, is actually very, very bloody, because you are dealing with the people who don't even fear death. And so many soldiers have come back broken, and very little has been done to deal with the mental issues of these young men. We have them being invalidated out, but nobody follows up to know what is happening. We keep on hearing that the government has a budget for the men in uniform and their health, and mental health is part of the physical health. Because without mental health, you do not have a soldier or a policeman with you. The question we are asking, where does this money go to? What does it take for the army, one of the best funded institutions in this country, to have its own corps of trained psychologists who understand the mindset of the soldier, so that when these kind of things happen, because they happen worldwide, we have heard of psychological trauma in the current war in Ukraine. So many soldiers who fought in Vietnam became wrecks. And studies have been done as to exactly what kind of interventions are needed for soldiers. So unless somebody somewhere has been diverting the resources that were meant for this particular work, we don't know where our soldiers should be allowed to come out of their defense of the whole nation and become wrecks among society. We believe that this is something that all of us ought to talk about. Fortunately for our case here, it ended nicely. I have been receiving calls from people who say, your stories seem to be so dull and full of pessimism. It seems that your heroes are always failing. But as you can see from this case and other cases that we have come up with, they are success stories. Do not believe that all of us who go through treatment are destined for relapse. They are success stories. So those who listen, do not concentrate on the bad story. When you hear the bad stories, ask yourself, what did that particular person do wrong? Or who failed them? Like in our case, so many of these soldiers have been failed by the government. So we are going to end our episode there. You subscribe, share, because we are going to be continue talking about these issues. Any comments will be highly appreciated, because addiction is a worldwide issue, no respecter of rank, no respecter of age, no respecter of gender. So subscribe, and we will be meeting in the next episode where we keep on talking about this issue of relapse following addiction treatment. Thank you very much.